Today is Friday. It is the 20th of June. I'm Jamie Fitzpatrick, sitting in for Adam Walsh today. This is The Signal. As we've been hearing in the news, tomorrow is National Indigenous Peoples Day, so let's get a head start on it. We're going to talk about celebrations, the importance of gathering and celebrating, and what's happening across the province. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that First Light is the St. John's nonprofit dedicating to celebrating Indigenous cultures and languages. And I'm joined in the studio today by a trio of guests from First Light. So we'll also be heading to locations around the province as well to see what other celebrations are planned today. But right now, let me introduce Elizabeth Anderson, Executive Assistant with First Light. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Kelly Young, Marketing and Communications Specialist. Hi.
Gway, hello. Good to be here.
And Sean Broomfield, First Light's Municipal Reconciliation Liaison. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks you all for joining us today. National Indigenous Peoples Day, first declared in 1996, so I was looking that up this week, called National Aboriginal Day at the time. And I'm wondering, I'd like to ask three of you, was it always on your radar growing up? Did it always have meaning for you? Sean, why don't you take that on first?
Just being from Labrador, originally from Riglet, and when I was 5, we moved to Goose Bay. And as a young kid, we've always, like you said, it was National Aboriginal Day at that time. And we really look forward to celebrating that day. I can remember even thinking about it today, actually, as I was driving over, that it was an exciting time because a lot of times my cousins, they'd come up and they'd come up and want to celebrate it from Riglet, and so lots of times they would stay with us, and the night before we'd be talking about all the things that we're going to be doing, and yeah, we couldn't wait for it.
Does a part of you miss being there this weekend?
It for sure, because it was always a time to connect with family and friends whenever we celebrated National Indigenous Day. It was a time that we got to see each other. As young kids, we would play these Inuit games, and we would always really try hard against each other. I can remember even me and my brothers, just wanting to win so bad on Owl Hop, we'd try to knock each other over and stuff like that just because we really wanted to win. But at the same time, we would root each other on when the other one was playing in other games. So yes, but at the same time, I'm excited about out here, to celebrate National Indigenous People Day out here because, it's. I know there's been a lot of planning put into this, and I see the dancers and everybody working so hard to make sure that this is going to be a fabulous event. So I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow.
Okay. Kelly, let's talk about your youth. Was this always part of life growing up?
Nope. So I'm definitely different from Sean. Growing up, I'm from Stephenville over on the west coast of the island. Growing up in my town, it just wasn't really talked about much. And I think a lot of Newfoundlanders understand why. We have a lengthy history, a complicated history with regards to recognition of Indigenous people. So once my family did actually kind of explain to me that I am a part of a First Nation, it took me a while as a youth to understand what that meant. It wasn't until I went off to university out here in St. John's and I met with groups like First Light as well as the Indigenous Resource Office at MUN, and they actually encouraged me to attend these celebrations, just like NIPD, like Indigenous Day. And so it was through their guidance and welcoming that I was able to join into my own community and to learn and slowly, feel like I am a part of it in a meaningful way. And that's why I'm here today.
What's that process been like?
It's been beautiful. I have a lot of friends I grew up with who often reach out to me and just kind of ask, Kelly, how'd you get where you are? And the answer simply is showing up. Whenever there's an opportunity, even if I know I don't know anything, even if I know I'm scared, if I know I might offend someone because I don't know what the right protocols are, I just put all those fears aside and I focus on the opportunity to learn. And that's what I do. I just keep showing up, and here I am.
Okay. Elizabeth, I'll put the same question to you.
Of course.
Was National Indigenous Peoples Day a part of your life growing up? Did you come to it later, like Kelly?
Yes, like Kelly, it came to me later in life, in particular when I started working with the Friendship Center. I grew up here in St. John's. I'm what we call a townie. And I knew about my Inuk ancestry for the majority of my life, but it wasn't a part of my everyday life. I live a very non-Indigenous life, I would say, if I'm being quite honest. So when I learned about National Indigenous Peoples Day and the events that First Light puts off for the community, that's when I began to really celebrate it and understand why it is so important and so exciting.
Okay. I don't know who wants to take on this next question, but it occurred to me as we were sitting down to just get the show started that this organization that you all work for is called First Light. And National Indigenous Peoples Day always starts with a sunrise ceremony, which I guess isn't a coincidence. Which one of you would like to tell me about the significance of the sunrise ceremony and why it's so important every year?
I can start.
Okay.
So from what I was taught, sunrise ceremony is the way to not only thank Creator for the beautiful day ahead, it's also the beginning of summer. So we're also welcoming the summer season, the beginning of, for a lot of people, what's called the powwow season or powwow trail. So in sunrise ceremony, we come together in a circle, typically on grass. So that's why we'll be in Bannerman Park. And the idea is we have our elders guide it. We let them choose what would be the most meaningful. They do drumming, prayers, we do ceremony like smudging, berries, and it's just a beautiful way to start the day and thank Creator for all the gifts that they've given us.
So are you obsessively watching the forecast?
Yes, we have been watching the forecast all week, and it's been going up and down in our favor, but as of right now, knock on wood, it's looking very positive for tomorrow, and we're very hopeful that it's going to be another gorgeous day like we had last year.
Okay, we don't want to jinx it, so this will be the last time we mention the weather on today's show.
Understood.
Right?
Thank you.
So, yeah, we don't have to go there. Sean, we'll talk about some of the other events that are coming up tomorrow as well. Sean, I understand that the City of St. John's and the City of Mount Pearl are collaborating on some of this time.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened before. What's the significance of that?
So last year was a big year in the sense that it was the first year that City of St. John's renamed their June holiday to National Indigenous Peoples Day, and this year Mount Pearl, they renamed their June holiday to National Indigenous People Day. And you know, as someone who's Indigenous, that's huge for the community, and for me, it makes me feel like I'm a part of the community, and it makes me feel like you know, that I'm welcomed and creating a safe space. And so I think it's wonderful that they're doing that. And, you know, the City of St. John's, you know, has really taken the lead on this. And, you know, they've got a lot. We have what you call a joint coordinating committee and for Indigenous rights. And we've been really working closely with City of St. John's over the last while. And, you know, there's a lot of initiatives in place, which, you know, and so, yes, it's so exciting to see what's happening around our cities. And I have a goal, you know, and that eventually I'd like to see the whole province celebrating National Indigenous Day, you know, join in with us and celebrate it with us. It'd be awesome.
All right. Before we continue the discussion further, we have Chief Jenny Brake of the Halapu First Nation on the line. We're going to have a brief chat with her. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Before we talk about the subject of the day, which is some of the celebrations happening this weekend, I know that some of your members would have been involved in the evacuation of Badger that happened this week. Have you checked in today and see how everyone's doing?
Oh, my goodness, absolutely. We're checking in constantly, actually. We have our Central Vice Chief, Colleen Paul, in the area and ward councillors, and they've been updating us on the situation, and we've been, checking with our housing department and our mental health services to make sure that folks are aware that we're here for them. We've sent out sandwiches and coffees and soups to emergency responders, and we're doing what we can to support these individuals during this very, very difficult time. So, yes, we've been our fingers on the pulse, and we're just so relieved to have boots to ground out there, staff and council members.
Well, I hope they all get to go home very, very soon.
Yes, so do we.
In the meantime, I know that there were celebrations planned for tomorrow in a variety of locations. I think Corner Brook, Glenwood. I saw Stephenville Crossing. Well, also, there was an event planned for Grand Falls, Windsor's as well initially. Is all that going ahead?
Well, no, we canceled the one in Grand Falls because we wanted to put the budget that was allocated for that gathering toward helping with the relief funds. So we've, the things that we've prepared around food and coffee and things like that, we've donated to first responders in the area.
What about in the other communities?
The other communities will still be getting together. We want to make sure that we're staying strong. In times like this, it's more important than ever for us to come together and to offer our prayers for the people in need.
Okay. What will some of the celebrations or events look like? There are sunrise ceremonies, I believe?
Yes, there'll be sunrise ceremonies and gatherings. There's going to be breakfasts and drumming and singing and vendors about. So, just getting together. It's really just about being together and supporting one another and celebrating who we are as Indigenous people.
Okay. I know that I mentioned Glenwood, Stephenville Crossing, Corner Brook. Have I missed any community on that list?
I'm not sure. I don't have a list in front of me, but folks are welcome to check our website. Our communications team updates that, every hour on the hour. So if there's anything happening, then we will have it listed there on our website.
I know you're having a very busy week, and most of it was very much unplanned. So we really appreciate you checking in with us today.
Oh, no, I appreciate the opportunity to check in. It's important for us to stay connected and communicate with one another about what's happening. And, I look forward to seeing folks on the weekend to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, but I also look forward to hearing from folks in Central. We want to hear feedback about how we can support you and how we can be there for you. And, again, my gratitude to the first responders and to council members and staff in the area and here at the office that are, working a little overtime this week to make sure that everyone's needs are met.
Okay, very well said. Thanks again. Take care.
You have a good day.
That is Chief Jenny Brake of the Halapu First Nation. Kelly, she was talking about support and community. Those words were mentioned a lot. And they're in a situation in central Newfoundland where, some plans for some celebrations have gone off track. But support and community, I guess, are always at the heart of these sorts of events, right?
Absolutely. In particular, because we have community members who are facing these challenges, I know for a fact tomorrow when I'm dancing, I'll be praying for my community members. So part of what we do as First Nations dancers, some of us, while we're dancing, we are praying for people who need it. And in particular, right now, I know those out in Badger definitely need those prayers. So we'll be thinking of them.
And are you going to be dancing first thing in the morning?
I won't be dancing in the morning. I'll be dancing at noon. But in the morning, I will be at the sunrise ceremony as well. So I'll be putting a blessing as well in my prayers for them as well.
Okay, tell us about what's happening at noon.
So at noon, that's when the party starts. And I promise you want to be there at 12 because that's when the action starts. We're going to start with some incredible celebrations, incredible performances, a variety of them, which is so important. We want to have balance between First Nations and Inuit performers at our event. So come early, carpool if you can, because parking can be limited downtown. But it's going to be a fabulous time. We're going to have so many incredible things. Powwow dancing. We're going to have drummers. We're going to have singers. We're going to have hair braiding, face painting, things for the little kids. I promise you, each and every one will have something to take away from this event.
Okay. Elizabeth, do you want to add to that? First of all, where's sort of home base for the celebrations tomorrow?
Yes, so the home base for celebrations tomorrow, both the sunrise ceremony and the community celebration, are going to be happening in Bannerman Park. We're going to be in the area of the park that is closer to the Military Road gate. So if you aim for that entrance, it'll be just on your left. If you're coming in from the playground splash pad area, you'll just walk past the washrooms and head up to the left on an angle, and you will see us. we should be pretty easy to find. The teepee tent will be set up, the trapper's tent, so it should be a fairly easy navigation once you're down there. But yeah, like Kelly said, we have a variety of things planned for both little ones, for adults, and I also want to reiterate really quickly that everyone is welcome to come. You don't need to be Indigenous. You don't need to know everything about Indigenous people or our culture. We invite everyone to come down and learn something tomorrow and celebrate with us. So a couple of examples I'll throw out. We have some food vendors to keep people from getting hungry, including an Indigenous chef from Labrador, Justin Igloliorte, is going to be preparing some burgers with moose sausage and onion toppings, some partridge berry aioli, trying to throw some Indigenous elements in there. We're also going to have an information table so you can learn more about what First Light does for the community and our advocacy work through First Voice, the Joint Coordinating Committee, all those things. We'll also have some of our orange shirts there for sale if anyone needs to grab a last-minute shirt for the summer. Maybe you need a shirt for being out in the garden or just to wear any day of the year. We'll have those there for a donation, so whatever you can afford. We'll also have Inuit games there. They're very important to Inuit culture, so we wanted to make sure we included those. So if you're athletic and you think you can kick really high or show all of your upper body strength, definitely come down and give those a try. A couple of other examples, like Kelly said, we'll be doing face painting, hair braiding. There'll be some activities in the teepee tent and the trapper's tent for little ones, like stories, drumming, different puzzles, things like that. And of course, we have additional food vendors coming. We have Ziggy's and Mamacitas coming as well. So some great food options. We have a ton of Indigenous artisan vendors coming and setting up like an Indigenous market. So definitely check out that. Come support small Indigenous businesses. It's going to be a great day. And if anyone has any questions between now and then, you can always reach out to First Light.
I know that from speaking with a couple of Indigenous friends and co-workers of mine that in past years, they really look forward to the hair braiding. Tell us a little bit more about the significance of that.
Yeah, so the hair braiding station was included in the event at least a few years before I started at First Light. It's always very popular, and I think it's because of the significance for hair braids for Indigenous people. I don't know the exact teaching, but there is a teaching of braiding where you weave each piece together. Each piece represents something different, and the idea is to bring that together. So there's a lot of symbolism in braids for Indigenous people. And we also throw in some fun things like some extra little clip-in hair extensions in different colors for the kids. And we'll have the hairspray and everything down there so your hair lasts all day while you're dancing. So it's always very popular for both kids and adults.
I don't think it would be very popular with me or with Sean somehow. But Jenny,
I mean, we could put a few clip-ins if you want some pink or green. It would definitely be a look. Yeah.
You could go for a braid, I think, Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm waiting until after powwow season to get a haircut. So I'm keeping my hair long. Yep,
For her braids.
For the braids. You got it right.
Okay. We're joined on the line now by Nelson White, artist and a member of the Flat Bay Band, and he's on the line. I believe you're in Corner Brook. Are you, Nelson?
I'm actually home in Flat Bay right now.
You're back home in Flat Bay right now.
Yes.
So, Nelson, for those who don't know, award-winning artist, like I said, member of the Flat Bay First Nation Band. Art has been displayed across North America. You have just had a mural unveiled in Corner Brook. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
The unveiling sort of got a little delayed because of some technical issues, but it's a mural on the new Halifu building, the new Halifu building, the Halifu building downtown. There are two artists, myself and Kelsey Street, have done murals, which are being installed. We were going to do an unveiling this morning, but there were some technical issues, so we've postponed it. But my murals are up. Two of my three pieces are up now, so the public in Corner Brook can drive by on One Church Street and see the mural there.
What can you tell us about it? Were you given some specific instructions, or were you told to use your imagination and do whatever comes to you?
Basically, use my imagination and do whatever. What I want to do is do something bright and joyful and colorful, welcoming and inviting to the space. So the piece will eventually have three large full size of the building dancers, powwow dancers, and there's a male, female, and a child dancer, and the male and the child are up right now, and the female will be up hopefully next week sometime. So I just wanted something inviting and bright and welcoming in that space. So yeah, that's what's there.
I think the first piece that I ever saw by you was a painting that I checked it this morning. It's called Gordon at the Table. And It's a guy who's shooting pool, and he's lining up his next shot. And I was always struck by the sort of everyday, ordinary life that you're able to capture so well. And I wonder, is that sort of what's behind a lot of the work that you do?
That is behind a lot of work what I do. That particular piece is actually my brother, and a lot of teachings came from being around the pool table. That's how I learned from my father and my grandfather and my uncle, and that's how was community and things were taught. But my work is about Indigenous people in a contemporary setting, Indigenous people as we exist in the world today. All too often people see Indigenous people as people of the past, or they're only native when they're in full regalia at powwow. But we exist in every day. We are doctors and lawyers and musicians, and we find our way in the community. So that's what my work's about. My work is intended to be knowledge giving, sort of saying, oh wow, okay, natives are cool. My work is about natives being cool for Indigenous people as well as non-Indigenous people.
Just to name another painting, I remember another one that shows a woman pouring a pitcher of water into a bucket. It's beautifully rendered, fairly ordinary scene, but the title is Sanctity of Water. And I wonder if that's deliberate, that the ordinary and the spiritual are entwined.
Yes, it is. It is. It's because that's part of Indigenous culture. Spirituality, ceremony, community, those things are part of your just general existence. Some people are more lean stronger on ceremony than others. I don't consider myself someone who leans strongly on ceremony, but it's still part of your culture. It's still part of your upbringing. It's still part of your day-to-day life. So I don't think you can ever really separate Indigenous culture from those sacraments and those things.
As a man who, as you say, doesn't stand on ceremony, does National Indigenous Peoples Day have a meaning for you?
It has a meaning. Again, it's about community.
Oh, I think...
Together. Yep. Are you losing me?
Almost did, but now you're back.
Okay. Yeah, it's about people getting together. It's about sharing. It's about whether it's sharing meals, sharing dances, sharing knowledge. It's a chance for people to get together. And I'm always a big fan of those things. That when you have a chance for a community to come together and just be proud of who they are and show their joy at being part of their community and being Indigenous, I think that's always important.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great weekend, and congratulations on the new piece. I hope the official unveiling takes place soon.
So hopefully it will be soon. So thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Again, that's Nelson White. He's from Flat Bay, the award-winning artist. Just finished a mural in Corner Brook that I think you can see now, though it's not officially unveiled yet. Where do I want to go next? Sean, you mentioned earlier the Inuit games that you play as a kid. Yeah. Are those part of the celebrations here locally?
They are, and as a kid, I can remember we would practice and prepare for those games because we wanted to compete and do well. And this year, I'll be teaching. We'll be teaching a couple of games. I'll be helping instruct on the couple of games and actually participating in the Owl Hop. Now, I won't be nearly as competitive as I once was, make no mistake about that. But yes, it'll still be fun though. It'll bring back memories and times when I can remember doing it for so long. And, I taught these games to my kids, and not only my kids' friends. And everybody really loved these games. So come out and enjoy them. You'll really have a good time. And, I'm not as athletic and nowhere near as athletic as I used to be. I'm going to do them. So if I can do them, anyone can do them.
Okay. What are some of the other events? I can remember a couple of years ago when I was in Labrador, various events that took place at the Labrador Winter Games. Would they be similar?
Yeah, I think we're going to have the seal kick, and another interesting one is the monkey dance. These games, the monkey dance and the owl hop. I remember the elders would say to us, these are games of endurance, of strength, and really determination. These are the types of games that if you participate, because it's hard on the body, some of these games, and you really got to focus. But but at the same time, when you watch these games, it's really entertaining to watch. The monkey dance, I would compare it similar to watching someone river dance as per se, but it's a little different. But you're sitting down, and you're putting one leg out in front of the other, and everybody's cheering you on. It's really cool to watch and to actually witness it and take part in it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest with you. And, like you said, you brought up the Labrador Winter Games, and I can remember, I always attended those as well, and even made a purpose. The last Winter Games, I went home for those just because it means so much to me. So to see some of those games going on now tomorrow, yeah, come out and check it out. It's going to be really entertaining.
Sounds like the monkey dance is a lot easier to watch than it is to do.
Oh, my goodness, yes. I completely agree. And I can remember, we would do that as a kid, and I can no longer do that dance. But, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who's doing it. But I will be doing the owl hop, so come out and cheer me on.
Okay. Kelly, will you be taking on the owl hop, maybe, the monkey dance?
Probably not. I'm going to be honest. So I really wanted to see these Inuit games because myself, I'm normally busy dancing. So I haven't seen the games. And for me, as a First Nations person, I want to know more about Inuit culture. So I won't be participating, so I'll probably be tired from dancing, but I'll be there cheering and screaming, and especially cheering for Sean.
Elizabeth, would you prefer to cheer over doing the monkey hop the owl hop or the monkey dance yourself?
I will also be cheering Sean on from the sidelines in order to not embarrass myself. I'm not the most athletic person, but I really am so happy that we were able to incorporate them the way we are planning to tomorrow. They're not going to be just center stage where everyone is watching, and we'll have people competing, which, by the way, we have some prizes available for the best person at each game. But there'll also be a station over to the side of the trapper's tent for people to just try it throughout the event from 12 to 5. So if you could prefer to not be the center of attention but still want to try it, you'll also have the opportunity to do that as well.
Are the games into one particular part of the day, or are they throughout the afternoon?
So the station over by the trapper's tent will be the entire event, 12 to 5. And then the competition Inuit games, I can't remember the exact time off the top of my head, but I believe it's around the middle of the event.
About the middle of the afternoon.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So be there, Sean.
That's right.
No,
Be
no
there.
chickening out.
I'd say as long as you're there by like 1:45, 2 p.m., you won't miss them.
Okay. You've mentioned several times now in talking about different events that are happening tomorrow, different parts of tomorrow's celebrations, that like everybody should come out. And Elizabeth, you mentioned earlier that this is very much a celebration for all hands. So I don't know, Kelly, is it both things? Is it a celebration for people within their own community to celebrate together, but also like welcoming the world, anyone who wants to drop by?
Absolutely. So the fact that we have this day is huge because it's recognition for our community. In a time when in the past we've been ignored or, tried to be pushed into a corner in the quiet. So having a stage is important primarily. For our community, this is a time for us to get together and be together, to celebrate each other, to see each other, in the way that they are. So each person who comes in a regalia, they've spent so much time with their friends, family, putting these things together. So they're coming representing who they are, and that is beautiful to see. And we are excited as a community to share that together, but we're even more excited to explain to people how cool our culture is. So part of our event there will be a lot of storytelling involved. So non-Indigenous people can have a deeper understanding of why ceremony matters to us, why we do the things we do, and it helps non-Indigenous people to be able to appreciate us, understand us, and stand in solidarity with us when we need their support.
Okay. Along those lines, I wonder if we could also have a brief chat about the mandate and the real mission of First Light, because it's been around for a few years now. I know that there have been some changes and some evolutions in the way the organization operates and the services you offer and that sort of thing. Elizabeth, maybe you could start. What's happened within the last couple of years that you're really excited about as part of First Light's mandate?
Yeah, so I started with First Light in April of 2021, so it's been a couple of years now. And our staff total has doubled in that 3.5, 4 years that I've been with the Friendship Center, so it's been really exciting to see the growth. That growth has come from needs in community. We see a need for, it could be anything, for example, and then we work really hard to make that support happen, to make sure people have what they need to be supported here in the city. Our mandate essentially, I'll just quickly explain for people who aren't familiar with Friendship Centers, because not everyone is familiar with what Friendship Centers in general do. So we're Indigenous nonprofit organizations across Canada. First Light is just the name that we give to the Friendship Center here in St. John's. So different Friendship Centers have different names, and then they'll usually just have the location and the word Friendship Center after, or the words, plural. And our mandate collectively is to deliver programs and services to people in the urban setting. And that definitely includes First Light's mandate, of course, as well. Everything we do is rooted in culture and community. It's at the root or the heart of everything that we do. Many Indigenous people have to leave their home communities and move to urban centers for a variety of reasons. The three most common that I can think of right now would be education, like Kelly, coming here for university, or to come here for a job, or maybe it's to access more extensive health care. And with that, you not only have the challenges of moving to typically a bigger place than what you're used to, but there's the additional layer of Indigenous cultural identity and any systemic barriers that people may face. So for those people, well, anybody really, Friendship Centers act as a community hub. It's a place for us to gather, receive support when we need it, or support other people to celebrate or connect with our Indigenous culture, the other Indigenous cultures. And Friendship Centers really foster that sense of community, having a place where you feel like you belong and you're able to celebrate that part of yourself. So I think that's really important.
It sounds like you had to be very responsive. In other words, the community, the larger community that comes to the Friendship Center or to First Light, you'll learn from them what's needed.
Yes.
And you had to respond to that.
Exactly. Yes. We're always monitoring what the need is, what people are saying to us. We have so many dedicated staff who work frontline with community to give them the support that they need. And we're listening to them and bringing them into conversations with teams like our advocacy team, which Sean is a part of, and finding ways to create that meaningful change by building relationships with our stakeholders like municipalities.
Okay. Tell us about some of the more recent developments. Maybe Kelly, you could take that up. I know there have been changes at the location down on Water Street, right?
Absolutely. So if you've been driving around the city, if you see our buildings, we are busy. So our headquarters is currently under construction. So that was over on Kitty Vitty Road. That's under construction right now. So we're over at Brookfield Road right now. That's our headquarters. But down on Water Street, actually, we're very excited because our new transitional housing building will be opening soon. So more to come in the coming weeks and months on that. But exactly, so we saw a need in our community that people were not taken care of. They did not have access to the supports that they needed. And so First Light worked extremely diligently in order to make this facility able to serve our community in the way that they need. If you visit our website now, we have just relaunched our website. And I think the key takeaway you can take when you visit us now is you could see the breadth of what we do at First Light. We've always been doing a lot, but it was not obvious to our community and the wider, province what we do here at First Light. And so right across the top of our webpage, you could see many of the really important initiatives that we do, including housing, including advocacy, for our child care center as well, the early learning, making sure as well that our community can access the programming that we provide for them very easily. So we tried to make our website a much more accessible place where everybody, no matter what you're doing to come look for us, you can actually understand the variety of things that we do.
Okay. Sean, Elizabeth mentioned that you work in advocacy, and your title at First Light is Municipal Reconciliation Liaison. Tell me a bit about what you see, what you hear from people, what you've learned in the position you're in.
Yeah, it's a new role. It was created a couple months ago, so I was excited when the position came up, and since I've been in the role, I've been trying to make a lot of connections. But one thing that I gathered is just really, the one thing I didn't realize is just how closely First Light is as the relationship that they built with the city of St. John's. I've been attending some meetings, and I've recently attended a meeting with all the city managers of St. John's, and led by Kevin Breen. And I will say, just such a warm welcome, and there's a real sense of partnership there. And and when you have a partnership, you can really work with that. And we're trying to really work with each other to build a community here that the Indigenous people can really feel welcome in the city of St. John's. And really, we touched on Mount Pearl and St. John's renaming their holiday. And, that's a huge step to really truth and reconciliation. So it's really important initiatives that we're working on. And the other thing that I'll say is about First Light that I really respect and really love is that, so growing up for me, elders was so huge. Like, it was always talked about in our communities, and our parents and uncles and anyone would talk about the elders, and elders would come to our houses all the time to talk and share their knowledge and put our parents in line, and when they went out of line sometimes. And to see how First Light really respects the elders and and really appreciates them, and how we embrace the elders and their knowledge sharing, that really means a lot to me, I will say. And just witnessing and being a part of that really means a lot to me.
Okay. On the line now we have Chief Eugene Hart from Shaji. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Hi, Mr. Command. Thanks for your invite.
Sean, would you like to say hello?
Hey, my friend. How you doing? How's it going? It's been a while.
I'm doing well. Who's speaking again?
Sean Broomfield, your buddy.
Oh, Sean Broomfield. Yeah.
Nice to hear from you again.
I don't know that guy. I don't.
Oh, my.
I'm not sure everyone's being completely honest. What's it like in your community as we get into or get closer to National Indigenous Peoples Day? Does it feel like a big day of celebration for your community?
It's a big day of celebration. Now we got to move everything because of the rain.
Yes, I believe it. Is it?
Yeah.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow, is it?
It's supposed to rain up all weekend. I think Sean should know that, Sean.
Yeah, but now these days, Eugene, I'm living out St. John's, so it's a bright sunny day. We're celebrating it out here, so I'm
opposite.
Yeah, so unfortunately for you guys, you got the rain coming.
Yeah.
When you're eventually able to celebrate, what do you look?
Well, we got it. The weather, due to the weather, we got it all a little revised because of the weather. We're going to have it in the youth center as well.
Okay.
But the tug of war and the canoe racing, we're going to move that till next weekend.
Okay. Yes.
We got it on schedule, but we don't want to continue because of the weather. But we'll still plan something for next weekend for those games.
What do you look forward to the most?
I look forward to everyone just coming out and being together as a community as a whole, and with bringing out their children, and just celebrating with everyone, with one another.
Right. Okay. Was National Indigenous Peoples Day always kind of on your radar or part of your life when you were younger?
Yes. Not Mostly in school was always a big event.
Right. Okay. Not so much, there wasn't so much in the way of community celebrations as there is now.
I think there was. I think they might have turned it into like a festival.
Yes, I understand. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's the kind of celebrations we used to have back in the day, and it is now for the last 10 years. That's what we've been doing, is celebrating Indigenous Day. A lot of communities celebrate like 4 or 5 days,
right.
but we just celebrate however it helps us along the way, because we can't do 4 or 5 days, you know what I mean?
So if you have to postpone some of the outdoor events till next weekend, what kind of things will be happening tomorrow indoors?
I think they got checkers, and I thought he said a cricket game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the guys that's running the events, they're saying they're getting a lot of people signing up.
Signing up for cricket. Whose idea was that?
Sam.
Okay.
Sean. I really don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. Okay, I haven't heard it associated with this particular occasion before. But any thoughts
I
you'd
guess
like?
we'll call it the Innu cricket.
The Innu cricket.
There we go.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
We got a new name for it, so we're not stealing the name, right? No, I think everyone's looking forward to it, and to get everybody out and about. Where school is out now. Today's last day of school.
Right.
I went over there yesterday as well, and got a really good prizes for a lot of students, and just seeing everybody's faces smiling. That's all that matters, right?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Any other thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
No, I'd like to wish everybody happy Indigenous Day across Newfoundland, Labrador, and whoever's listening.
Okay.
I think it's important to celebrate this celebration so that just remind ourselves who we are and where we come from.
Well, thanks so much for dropping in on the phone and speaking with us today.
Thank you, and thank you everybody that's on the line.
Take care, my friend.
Yeah, take care.
That is Chief Eugene Hart in Shaji today. We also have on the line, Jade Roshwal, with Youth Programs Manager at the Labrador Friendship Centre in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
How are you today?
It's a great day. It's a very rainy day. I'm very busy prepping for our National Indigenous Peoples Day celebrations.
Is the rain going to be a problem?
We're going to go ahead, rain or shine. We hope to see lots of people come out and join us at Kinsman Park for food and music and a celebration of culture in as many ways as our team can.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening at the park tomorrow?
All right, so the food and music are our core parts. We're going to have samples of seal for people to try. We're going to have lots of fish and brews. We have a bunch of performers, including Richard Neville, Natasha Andrews, and the traditional drum dancing group Inisutwit Nipingit, as well as some drum dancers from our Little Tree Family Center. Our door prize, donated from Provincial Airlines, is 2 round-trip tickets. So we tend to see this event be pretty well attended, and we hope that the rain won't change that for us tomorrow.
Okay. While we have you here, can you tell us a little bit more about the Labrador Friendship Centre and the services that it offers?
The Labrador Friendship Centre exists to provide health and social development services to Indigenous people in Labrador. We offer the community food bank services from our site on a regular basis, and some of our core team members who involved in planning this event are also outreach workers, so they can be doing crisis support on a regular basis. We have employment initiatives. We have some folks who are doing work placements with us. The range of work that we do at the center is very wide, and National Indigenous Peoples Day is one of our biggest community events that we take part in throughout the year with a large team of other organizers.
What do you look forward to most about the day?
Something that we implemented in more recent years has been a fashion show for folks to come on up to the front and to showcase their traditional attire and jewelry. And so there'll be 3 age groups welcome to sign up on that and, show off their beautiful clothing. So that was appreciated recently, and we look forward to doing that again. There's also going to be Local Scouts Women Council will be hosting a sealskin ulu craft, so that will be a fun one for people to participate in. The children love the fish pond every year, and our outreach worker Maggie has painted it with the actual fish that you would see around here.
All right. Well, thanks so much for telling us about what's happening today. And I wish you well, rain or shine. I hope you have a great National Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Best wishes for everybody in their own celebrations in their communities.
Okay. Thanks again.
Take care.
That is Jade Roshwal of the Labrador Friendship Center in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. She was talking about a fashion show that's happening tomorrow, which brings to mind, okay, we won't go to this interview yet. We have an interview that we taped earlier, a short one, with regards to the arts and crafts auction that's happening that Nunatsiavut is putting on. But before we get onto that, while we're on the subject of fashion, Kelly, does Indigenous fashion appeal to you?
Oh, most definitely. I don't know if you can see me now. I have my beaded medallion on right now that I beaded myself. I put a lot of thought into this creation, but I wanted it to still be stylish and kind of cool and kind of modern and fun. And I really think that's what Indigenous culture can be when they're creating pieces, whether it's something to wear, earrings, necklaces, you wear it every day, or something very special that you only wear certain times of the year or for certain events, or you take very close care of that item because it has cultural significance. So fashion can be a lot of different things for Indigenous people. It could be very modern and how we infuse our vision of the world into clothing, but it could also be in reference to our past, but in a fresh way, in a way that fits with modern style, and helps showcase the creativity of Indigenous people who are alive today.
So it evolves.
Absolutely. And it will always continue to evolve. And as we get new abilities like 3D printers and all these cool technologies, I can only imagine the creativity of the youth who are going to come up and be able to use these awesome tools.
Okay. Elizabeth, do you want to add anything? Are you a fashion fan?
I am. I absolutely love Indigenous fashion. I think that we need to showcase it more and more. At the previous St. John's Fashion Week, I was fortunate enough to attend the Indigenous Fashion Show, which showcased multiple Indigenous designers and their work. And I ended up purchasing a dress from one of the designers, April Allen. She has a collection of dresses and shirts and jackets that are printed on a fabric, but it looks like sealskin, but it's not actually sealskin. So it's just a little bit more comfortable to wear for every day. But whenever I pull out that dress, I get so many compliments. People get so excited. They want to talk about it, whether they know me or not. So that's always very exciting. That's a good example of a piece that I own that I tend to only pull out on special occasions. Maybe not tomorrow because I'm going to be running around a lot. So I'll probably be in my workout gear, but that's a good example of a piece that I have that I love. And of course, earring collection. That's something that many Indigenous people own. I had to get a bigger organizer for all of my Indigenous earrings recently, including some that are made with combination of beading and sealskin. Some are acrylic with like Inuit tattoo designs on them. Some of them have moon phases. Some of them are tiny. I just have like a variety of them now, and I cannot stop collecting them. So yeah, that's what I'll add to that piece. I can definitely concur. Indigenous fashion is not only awesome, it's important.
I'd just like to point out that Sean and I are very well dressed today.
You are. Absolutely.
Of
course.
While we're on that subject, I just want to mention that celebrations in Nunatsiavut in some ways are open to anyone, anywhere, as long as you're on Facebook. That's because the Nunatsiavut Indigenous Peoples Day Art and Craft Auction is a Facebook event, and bids are rolling in as we speak. Inez Shywak is the Arts Program Coordinator in Nunatsiavut, and I called her earlier today to talk about what's on offer. Hello, Inez.
Hi.
I was browsing the auction just a few minutes ago. There's some beautiful items there. There's jewelry and slippers and tree ornaments and soap and moisturizer. There's so much to choose from. How does the auction come together every year? How do you get together the artists and all the items for sale?
Usually we plan it so we always have the Indigenous Day auction, and then in June, and then there's always the Christmas auction. So people tend to know about it, and they'll start getting ready throughout the year. And once it starts getting closer, like we'll do a countdown from 45 days to say like the auction is coming up. So we do like a 35-day countdown or a 45-day countdown, and people are always getting ready for the auction.
For this particular one, for National Indigenous Peoples Day, when did you do the first one? When did it start?
The first one started in 2020 during the pandemic because our artists weren't able to travel to shows. Like normally we would always fund artists to travel to shows in November. October, November is usually when the craft fairs start, like in St. John's or in Winnipeg, that sort of thing. So it was a way to get artwork out there when we couldn't travel because of the pandemic. So we wanted to make sure that people were able to sell their crafts even though we were all affected by the pandemic.
Has the auction changed since you did the first one? Are you seeing like different and newer artists come forward, or are people offering different kinds of work for sale?
When you look at it, like the evolution of like how people have started and to what people are doing now, it's a lot different. Like when you look at the different style of earrings, like when I don't wear earrings, but when you look at the way people have evolved in what they're making and selling, it's amazing.
So not everything is based on sort of traditional images that we might expect.
No, it's a lot of new age stuff. Like it's not the same thing as maybe what your grandparents have done. You don't expect to see some of the things that people are creating, and which is awesome. Like to see what people are like. They have a whole year to think about something new that they might want to try. Or like, especially with the Christmas auction now, people are coming out with newer things. Like you had mentioned Christmas decorations. Like Christmas decorations weren't done probably 10, 15 years ago. Now it's like sealskin decorations are so popular. Like when my mom was creating, she was using natural sealskin, like the stony color you could get. But now colors have evolved, so people are changing with the times. You
mentioned that you don't wear earrings. I don't wear earrings either. But
you're a great present, though.
Having said that, I think my favorite items in the auction that I've seen so far are the earrings that kind of look like Converse high-top sneakers that are available in assorted colors. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, those are quite interesting. That's actually my cousin who made those. So it's like seeing her evolve, too, the things that she started out first and moving into what she's doing now. So it's great. And then people are also able to show what they're making, and hopefully like galleries or gift shops are able to see, and maybe they might get orders once the auction is finished, or people might approach them after the auction to say, can you make me this? And I would like to buy it. So that's part of the auction, too, as well as getting people's artwork out there that they may not be able to. Like some people don't like traveling to trade shows or craft fairs, but they have really interesting work or nice work that needs to be out there, but they can't get it out there because they don't want to travel. But if we're able to do it this way, people are able to see what's being created by Nunatsuit artists.
So the auction is being run through Facebook by Nunatsuit government, but do the artists get all the money from the items they sell? Yeah,
we just help with organizing and setting up the rules and all this stuff, but all the money that comes in for the artists, we don't take anything from it. We don't take a commission. We don't do anything. 100% of the funds go back to the artists, so it enables them to maybe create more product or buy more materials for what they're making, or maybe they're trying to save up for something, and this is a way to make a bit extra money for it.
So that's Inez Shywalk. If you go to Facebook and search Nunatsiavut Arts and Crafts, the auction will pop up. Items are open for bidding until Sunday night at 8:59 p.m. Labrador time, precisely. Okay, we've only got about a minute left. Any closing points you'd like to make?
Absolutely. So just on the heels of that, for any non-Indigenous person out there, if you want to wear beaded earrings, as if it's made by an Indigenous artist, you are welcome to wear them. Please wear our creations proudly. And please give credit to the artist that made them too. You're more than welcome to wear it. But I just want to leave you all, if you're excited for tomorrow, don't worry. We have a surprise coming tonight at 6 p.m. on our website, firstlightnl.ca. You can also find it on our social media. We won't tell you what it is, but it's a way for anybody in the province to be a part of National Indigenous Peoples Day, no matter where you are. So tune in tonight, 6 p.m.,
Awesome.
firstlightnl.ca.
So exciting.
Yes.
Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me today. It's been a great show.
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for having us.
Well, Alan, thank you.
I'm Jamie Fitzpatrick. The show is The Signal, wishing everybody a happy National Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow. Adam Walsh will be back in this chair on Monday. Have a great weekend, and thanks for listening.